Awesome. Very good. We are live. What's going on, guys? I'm Jeremy.
I'm Macy. This is Charlie.
Mr. Charlie today. So you guys saw him, if you tuned into our video yesterday, you saw him doing some showmanship. We're going to do some riding with him. I think this horse, for the majority of our viewers, is going to be very similar to what you're going to have at home and the problems you're going to run into, right? So, like, I know it's hard for people to relate when we bring Peanut onto a video and we're like, oh, look at this horse. Like, we're working on some stuff. I'm sure a lot of people are like, that's not the horse I have, right?
He's gonna eat me.
So we want to make sure that we bring horses in that are newer to our program, so I can run you through my thought process in our training program to see how we change this horse into one like Dubs or Peanut, right? Because they're absolutely every single horse is absolutely capable of being broke. Every horse is capable of using their body correctly, okay? So I want you guys to remember that. Every horse can be broke. Every horse can be obedient. Every horse can use their body correctly. Okay? So, welcome to LSH Live.
Yes, welcome.
We are making videos all the way through this quarantine deal, helping you guys be better riders, come out of this quarantine better than you were before. Right? Hopefully. With fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, it seems like it got pushed back more. Oh, okay.
Whoa.
He's gonna eat me. It's okay. It's okay. This whole
forgot
month
his showmanship lesson.
of April, we're in quarantine, so.
Yes, yeah, we got extended out here in Michigan all the way to, okay, that's naughty.
Stay over there.
We got extended all the way out to May, so that's really unfortunate.
We'll be here for a while, which is exciting.
Yes.
But we had a blast with you guys last night.
That was so much fun.
That was a blast.
You guys were on the couch with Jeremy and Macy. That was a really good time. If you missed it, we were going over confirmation. We started breaking some things down, try to give you guys some insight into how I look at horses and how I pick things out, right? Kind of, because you can, where are you going? You just leave it.
Okay, we're going.
So you can pick a horse apart and figure out what they're going to be good at, what they're going to struggle with. And just remember that it's all about form to function with these horses. We want to pick out as much talent as we can possibly find, because putting in effort and energy and time into a horse that is just not made to do it, unfortunately, you're going to peak, right? You're going to hit a level that you can't go past. Whereas if you had a more talented athlete to begin with, right? Just like if I was playing basketball with my high school buddies, there's gonna be one star athlete in the group, right? Yep. One star athlete who, if he practiced as much as everybody else, he would go pro, right? But everybody else practiced hard, and that was the end of their career, right? Yep. So we want to learn how to pick out good horses so that we don't have to pay a fortune, but we can go play at the big shows. And that's kind of been our whole MO the whole way through this, right? Is that we don't want to spend a ton on our horses, but we do want.
He's hiding.
He's camera shy.
You can't see me.
So we want to have you guys be able to pick out good horses, not have to spend a fortune on. He's gonna rip you across.
I know.
All right. And go from there.
Go away.
So, any housekeeping stuff that we got to cover before we get started?
We're gonna be live tonight again.
Yes.
Going over, because we got a ton of pictures last night, so we'll be doing that again.
We have a lot more. If you guys have rides, right, of the horses, I would love to be able to go and match up picture to ride.
Yes.
And kind of like, okay, this is what this horse should be able to do, this is what he shouldn't be able to do, this is where he's going to struggle, and then watch a video of him and kind of decide like, oh, well, that was right. Where do you want to be, buddy?
I don't eat my hair.
And then remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Your shares, your likes, your subscribes, your comments, all that stuff helps us grow this channel, helps us help as many people. So we're doing this for you guys through this whole deal.
And we're going to be posting our subscriber spotlight today on Instagram.
Yes.
So don't forget to check that out.
Start those. I guess it's like subscriber Saturdays, right?
Yeah, subscriber Saturdays. You can make it.
Yep, that'd be really fun. So now his nose is all there.
Nosy.
He's busy today.
Oh, me
See, no chain over his nose. He knows it's not time to be on the job.
I guess so.
So do we want to get started, or we got more stuff to cover?
I'm trying to think, is there anything else we need to go over? He just got invited to do another judging for a virtual horse show.
Yes. So I got invited to do the Heart Equestrian Center, I think, something like that. Hi. The virtual judging for that. So as long as the shows keep going, I'll be doing some virtual judging for you guys. And if they'll let me, what I'd love to do, be really fun, is to do the judging live with you guys on the couch.
Like how I did last night?
Yep. Just run the patterns and then have you guys like come into my thought process as I'm judging that class. That'd be really fun.
Okay.
I don't know if they'll let me or not, but at the very least, I would love to go over the placings and give verbal explanations for the placings. Okay, so I'll be sharing those links. We'll probably share them in the chat, or I'll link them to the videos, and we'll kind of do it that way. And then all of these videos, if you guys have noticed, they're expiring off Facebook.
Right, yep.
And they're going on to the YouTube.
Yep.
So if you guys want to watch these videos, you can share that YouTube link after because the Facebook post is going to expire. Right?
Yep.
I'm giving it like 4 or 5 days, and then we expire them, and then they go on YouTube. And then the audio is corrected on YouTube.
Yep, so it sounds better.
Yeah, then you won't have all the wind noise and all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want to kind of break him down a little bit?
Good, yeah, let's turn him sideways and hope he stands still. All right.
I'll try my hardest.
Okay, how am I?
You good. Good, and just back up just a little bit so we can get the whole horse. There you go, perfect. Very good. Kelly's behind the wheel today. She's doing a great job. All right, so we picked this horse apart, right? Like we did yesterday. We're gonna look at the muscling of our horse, right? So what do we notice right away? We don't have much muscle through here. This is a problem area in this horse, right? So remember we talked before about how we wanna get our horse to where he's a bodybuilder, right? If you're doing a lot of bench pressing, you're gonna build up muscle back here, right? You're not gonna have a huge neck. This is where we build up muscle in our horses, when everything piles up into your bit, okay? So if you don't have your horse to where it crashes here and piles up, this is my wall right here, then everything going forward piles up right here. And hopefully you guys see that today. If you want to move back and that way just a little bit, perfect. Good, good. So everything's gonna pile up and crash into this, okay? So we're gonna address that today. We're gonna find what we're talking about when we say that this horse is piling up and he's pulling on my hands. He's not standing his shoulders up. When I'm riding him, I'm holding his chin up, right? We don't want his chin up and back, right? We want his shoulders up and back, and there's a big difference. What you guys are literally doing with your horses when you hold them back with your hands is holding their chins up and back.
Right.
Well, that's what it looks like, right? That's what this horse is gonna do when we start riding him. Hopefully we can get that neck laid down a little bit more today, and we kind of just keep chipping away as we go, right? But, so then looking at the rest of this horse, I like the way he's made, right? He's got a decent shape to his shoulder. He's a little bit straight right here. That's gonna affect the reach of this horse, how far he can fly his leg out there, right? If he's a little bit tighter, he's gonna ride tighter, okay? Yep. So I wanna see this horse open up with his shoulders, open up with his chest, get a lot looser, get a lot freer, right? And then the biggest thing that we need, like we need some muscle right here. Look, I don't know if you can see this on the camera there, Kel. Can you see how jiggly this is, right? This is where the muscle, look, this ripples all the way up into his belly, right?
Jiggly.
This is the muscle over his stifle, all right? So when we talk about this horse, we talk about strengthening that back end. That's the muscle over that, all of this right here, right? The stifle is your knee. So that muscle that covers that, right? He's got to build up a ton of muscle right here before I ever work on like really driving him up to the bit, all right? So most of what I'm doing now is trying to shift his weight back like this so he can start using that stifle to swing through, right? Because right now he's been used to just kind of picking his hocks up to go around, right? So we want to shift everything up and back like we talked about yesterday, right? We drew that line on that horse going this way so that everything can come under and through, right? So remember those arrows that we talked about. We're going to bring these shoulders this way so he sits on his back end, and then that back end can swing underneath. Okay, does that make sense? Very good, awesome. So get a good idea of this horse, right? He's kind of steep right through here. Gonna be hard for this horse to really stand on his back end. We gotta build up all the muscle back underneath here. We gotta build up lots of muscle right here. This is probably our weakest area on this horse, right? Aside from his neck. So those two areas are gonna be the biggest things we're looking for. This is lift right here, okay? We're talking about lifting off the ground. That's that muscle right there.
He's so jiggly.
Right? So this muscle controls all of the lift that your horse gets, right? Think about how my legs have to work when I do that, right? So if your horse is not very strong right here, right, you're gonna be skating across the ground, which is what we're gonna see in this horse, right? He just kind of shuffles his way flat across the ground. Okay, so what we're gonna work on with this horse, creating a wall so we can push things up behind it. All right, we're not there yet. We're not anywhere near ready to start making lift in this horse. Okay, we're still working on shuffling things back, bringing everything back and around, getting him off of our hands. It's amazing how much different your horse rides when you have them hold themselves up right here, because you're not pulling against all their face, right? He's not using all this muscle to brace against me, okay? Because this is way stronger than my hands, right? When you start leaning against this stuff right here, you got your work cut out for you, because that is way stronger than my hands, okay? Cool.
I think he's ready.
I think he's ready to do something. Awesome. Let's get started.
I'm gonna grab this.
From you. this around. Okay.
So again, we'll kind of walk you through my typical ride with this horse. We'll go over some of the things that we saw in videos yesterday with your guys' horses. And we'll address that backing thing that we talked about, right? So the very first thing I want to notice, look how this horse just wandered away, right? This horse has got a lot of wander in it. So I'm going to make sure I back that off. Come off of me, stay here, right? I'm going to give this horse lots of opportunities to make that mistake. So every time I stop, every time I do a turn, I'm going to set my hands down and make sure that you're staying back here. Because remember, we said the biggest thing we're trying to create in our horses is one that'll stay up and back, okay? We can't have him do a maneuver and turn or do something and then just fall back forward, right? If he's going to go this way and this way through the maneuver, and then you stop asking for the maneuver and he just falls back down and walks out, that's worth nothing, right? He's got to stay up and back all the time. The only way we're going to do that is to let him make the mistake, okay? We've got to let him mess up. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give you guys at home, is let your horse make mistakes, okay? That's the only way he's going to learn. So when you guys are riding and you're making mistakes and you run into problems, that's how you know you found a hole, right? So the video that we showed last night on the couch where that horse got stuck backing up, that's the only way we're going to find holes, right? I love it every time we get in one of those situations with our horses, because it gives me an opportunity to teach him how to think his way through problems, and it gives me an opportunity to teach him how to use his body, right? A horse that comes out here and never makes any mistakes or never gets put in a place where he's going to lift his head out of the bridle and lose himself is not going to learn very fast, right? You can turn that mic towards me. Just make sure it doesn't mess the audio up.
Okay.
Try not to rotate too much, just push it. What's happening? There you go. Just push it. Push it. Perfect.
Better?
All the way. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. So as long as that's not buzzing in people's ears, right? You'll still have to block it, but as long as it's not buzzing in people's ears because we moved the jack, it'll be okay. So what we want to work on is getting this horse to where he'll stay back on his own. He's going to have to make mistakes to do that, okay? He's got to make mistakes. You've got to let him make mistakes so we can address it and fix it as we go, okay? So that being said, we're going to gather him up. I just want to feel, are you soft in your face today, right? That was really nice. So I really like how he dropped off, but see how, like I'll turn sideways. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about, where when I go to drop his neck down, right? Right here, do you see how much chin I get, right? Do you see how I'm really soft right here? And this gives and flexes way before this does, right? So we want to watch that with our horses, right? We taught him that, right? So we want to watch that with our horses. That
he looks frisky.
This first, okay? Because you notice even when I went to stop right there, things kept going and piled up right into the dark spot of his neck, right? So watch that black part of his neck, because you're going to see things really pile up right there, right? We got a car accident going, right? We're jackknifing our trailer right there. And we want to bring everything up and back. So here, we'll close, back him off, there. Notice it's just one step, right? When I feel these shoulders release, I'm going to get out, right? So here, out. Here, out. Good, good. We're going to take him and side pass him over. My standard warm up on any horse, right? Want to make sure I have grip control. Want to make sure he's staying down, moving his body together, right? Notice how when I'm going to him, I'm keeping my hand low, right? Keep working that neck down. Want to keep always trying to drop him right here. Keep getting him flexible right there. Keep asking him to drop into my hands. I am much lower than I want to be with my head and neck right here, right? Far lower than I would really want to be when I'm done with this horse, but I have to drop him this low in order to get this piece right here engaged, okay? And hopefully you guys can see that muscle working right here, right? Do you guys see that bulge right there? When I drop him down, see how this starts to bulge out? It's still pretty soft, especially if you compare it up here, right? Look how stiff this is, right? But this has got to be where the muscle gets engaged, okay? So we're going to keep working our hands wide. When I'm doing that, I'm taking my hands, if you can see my hands, going this way, all right? Pulling this rein up, this rein out and wide so he drops onto my rein, okay? He's got to drop onto my reins, all right? Now, don't watch their ears. Their ears will lie to you. If you look at this, you would go, whoa, my horse's head's way too low. There's no way he could possibly do his job, right? But this is the piece that I'm looking at. This piece is slightly below level right here, right? That's where I want my horse to be, okay? So now you can see that muscle engaged right there, right? Look how smooth the rest of his neck is now, right? This is the muscle I want engaged, okay? So when you drop his neck down, this is not enough, right? That's why you see me dropping him all the time, because this is level right here. This is straight out of his withers, right, Macy?
Yep.
Straight out, okay? So training yourself to watch this and learn when this is angled down. You gotta get your horse that he angles down so he stays down in the bridle. Because the bigger gear I go in here, if I move from a walk to a trot to a lope, that's gonna keep angling up till it's up here, all right? And things are gonna crash up there, okay? So I want that to stay down all the time. I'm not gonna force it down, but I am gonna show him how, right? So there we'll back up, we'll back again. And this backup is dull, right? It's kind of heavy. So he's not giving me those shoulders. The reason I don't have those shoulders is because when I pull, look at all that chin that gives first, right? He gives all that chin first, so I can take his head and pick it up and get a hold of his shoulders. And that's something that I'll do sometimes, is when I go to back him off, instead of letting him fold under through here, right? If I just pull straight back, see I can fold under? I'll pick his head up, get his chin out, and now I have his shoulders, right? So you can pull up pretty hard and talk to his shoulders. Right here, back, good, back, good. And see how I get 1 or 2 steps, feel those shoulders release, and then I get out, right? Usually about the time that he flips his head and pokes his nose out, then he moves his shoulders, okay? So taking your horse, don't be afraid to pop him out of that a little bit, right? We're not looking for him to give his chin. And in fact, the more he gives his chin, the worse off you're gonna be when you try to take a hold of his shoulders. So I want him to be out there with his nose. He's gonna try to fold his chin under, right? He's gonna try to hide from there, and it just locks his shoulders up and hides him from it, okay? So this is still my warm up, right? Coming out here. But look how I'm definitely in and I'm definitely out, right? Be as black and white as you possibly can be. Don't be like this, back, and then release, right? You see how you guys can hardly tell that I'm in and out? Is he backing? Yes. But that is not a big enough release for him to teach him what we're looking for. So right here, back, release. See how I pulled him out of that? Right here, back, release, okay? And I'm pulling, like I'm getting some leverage on him by leaning back with my arms, leaning back with my seat, there. I want him to be really light off that, right? As long as he gets a big release and a pet, he'll understand it, right? So we'll take him, we'll side pass back to the right, warm up here. Is that a question?
Yep.
Good.
Michelle said, is there any telltale signs when you're jogging and loping and notice their shoulders neck drop and know when it's time to back up like that and roll over and switch directions? I have a hard time knowing when.
Yep. So it's gonna be when they pull on my hands, right? So if you have a hard time knowing when, you should do some maneuvers, right? Because all the maneuvers, all the steering that I'm doing is gonna help me, right? And we'll talk about that on him, how if you're just going around in your circle and you're just kind of staying in your circle, it's really hard, you're absolutely right, it's really hard to know whether you should stop and back, or should I turn to the right or turn to the left, or what should I be doing here, right? So what I would do with this horse is I'm gonna take him and do things with him, right? I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna side pass him over, and I don't feel him pulling on my hands at all here, but I know he's leaking forward a little bit, so I know there's a bit of forward in there, okay? So I'll come around, I'll side pass him again, we'll take up our trot. We've been standing there warming up a little bit. I don't know why we tried to lope off right there, but I just stay in, right? Stay in, take a hold, trot. Now we saw this horse on the video like a few days ago and he couldn't hardly jog at all, right? His jog was kind of ugly, but now we see him starting to get some lift, starting to get some rhythm, right? This is a much better jog than I had even just a couple days ago, right? Now I've got more of a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 rhythm across here, okay? So you could ride this circle, and is he pulling on my hands? No. Is he down in his neck? Yeah. Is he giving his chin? Is he soft in my hands? Yeah, absolutely. So there's nothing to work on here, right? So I've got to start testing my buttons, testing my maneuver. So once I can get my horse to where he stays between my hands and my feet, it's up to me to start changing my hands and feet. So So now I'm gonna bring him across here and I'm gonna evaluate. Do you come up and around or do you pull on my hands, right? So I'll make this circle a lot smaller, okay? If I can't make this circle where I want it to be, like right there, right? So if I can't make that circle where I want it to be, then I have got to stop and fix it, right? I'm going to fix it through a maneuver, through a button, rather than just do that circle again, right? So now I'll come back to it. Now that I've kind of schooled that up, now I'll say, okay, now do you come up and around? Good, good, much better. And see, like this is a, what, 6-foot circle? Right?
Yes, little.
I'm on a really tight circle right here. And then I go back out. He stayed in it pretty nice. I'm gonna come back around. 6-foot circle. Good. He's not pulling on my hands at all, right? His shoulders are coming up and around, really nice. Very good, much better. Much better. And that's why when I jog him and I let him down, I have so much more purpose and step with my front feet, right? You guys see how much more cadence and rhythm I have with my fronts. And that's gonna show up when you put him down, right? So when I set him down here, then he's able to hold himself up all the time, right? We're going along, he's holding himself up. Now he kind of extended his stride right there, so I'll pick up and I'll do another small circle and I'll just test it out. I say, are you up and back? Like, do you let me take a hold? Right there, good, set him down. Okay, and I don't need to back him up, but I can keep going around here. Nope, that's a mistake. So now I can back him up, right? And you see how quick I called that mistake. Then I'll come back in, we'll go to the same maneuver that I was doing. Same exact maneuver. Up to that same circle that I was working on, and give him an opportunity to make that mistake again. Okay, and what he did right there was I put my right leg on to make my circle, and he said, oh, that means lope, right? And I want my horse to wait on my voice commands to lope off. So nothing that's coming out of my spur ever means take up a lope. And you could put him in this tight circle and find those problems, right? But the only way you're gonna find those problems is to let him make the mistake and give him an opportunity to tell you, well, I'm gonna lope out of that, right? I'm not gonna come around here and stand my shoulders up and cross my front legs over because I'm gonna come around and lope out of that. Well, that would never be what I would look for, right? If I want him to lope, I'm gonna kiss. Nothing about going to my feet should mean that. But see where I've got pretty well-defined circle here, right? I like that stop, reach down and pet it. Very good. There's a little puff, we're gonna back up, we're gonna go the other way. So here, come off my hands, turn, back up, leaning, right? And you're gonna feel it through your maneuvers right here. If he's soft in my hands, he's coming around there, he's pulling on me. Back up, turn. And you can see how heavy these feet are when I go to back, right? Look at those front feet, how they drag the ground, right? He's just sliding his feet back instead of stepping with a 1-2 cadence across there, right? A backup is a 2-beat gait, right?
Stephanie said, my mare will move off my leg, but will always speed up. How do I fix that?
Yep, so you're gonna stay in that circle a little bit. So if my horse speeds up right here, and this horse will, that's why I'm just staying on the circle until he slows down, right? If I can control his shoulders here, then I'm gonna teach him how to stay slow and hold the ground right through this maneuver, right? He's gonna hold the ground right here with his left front leg, okay? So when we speed up, you have to break it into one of two things. Is he extending his stride and pulling through your hands, right? Is he leaning through your hands this way? Or is he not holding the ground and his legs are going faster, right? Because there's a big difference between taking a bigger step and leaning versus going faster with your legs on a short step, right? So we have to identify which of those two things is happening. If it's that his legs are getting fast, I'm gonna stay on the circle. He just needs to do more of it, right? So if it's that he's leaning, I would stop and back, right? I would say, hey, whoa, what are you doing here? Come back to me, bring everything back. Why are we leaning on my hands, okay? But right here, come across. But notice how I don't dig my foot or anything like that. Like he walked out of that one, we're gonna back that off, we're gonna try again. And that's where that forward off your foot comes from. But see how I'm not pulling him back, right? I'm not holding him back right here. A lot of you guys are gonna do your turns, like now he's wandering out. That's where the forward off your foot's coming from, right? So if you say, well, I go to my spur and he speeds up and goes this way, well, I found that right there in my pivot, right? But you won't find that in your pivot if every turn you do is holding him back like this, right? if every turn you do looks like this, where you're just arm wrestling his face the whole time, like that looks like a nice pivot, right? But the problem is, if my hands weren't here, I want to know, do you speed up and wander off my foot? Yeah. Right, look, my foot's in. He should be pivoting in that hole that he was digging right there, right? But see how we're not? This is the forward we're talking about. So I know right here, if I go to my left leg, I'm going somewhere out and around over there, right? See how this is a big circle he's walking? What I want this to be is when I press that foot, you stay tight all the time on your own, right there. So I put him down, gather him up, put him down, gather him up. You stay back here, put him down, there. That's what I'm looking for, right? And that's gonna be, whether it's horsemanship or pleasure, whatever class you're in, I wanna know that this horse is not gonna go out and that way when my foot comes on, all right? There's my puff, perfect, that's what I'm looking for, right? But you gotta know, and you gotta give him an opportunity to tell you where he's gonna be. So that's why when I go to turn, I'll go to my backup right here, and I'll turn, it's just laying that neck on his side, right? My rein is loose, okay? This rein is not that tight holding him back, it's just that rein on his neck. Okay, Macy, you want to come up and grab this rein and show him that it's not tight?
Which one?
This left one. So you guys can see how much pressure I'm keeping, right? It's just that rein on his neck that's making him turn. It's coming off my foot, right? Don't lean into his neck and get super tight with that rein because you're holding him back, right? If you're holding him back, when you put your hands down, he's probably going to go that way. Right? And I want a horse that's not going to go that way, especially when I put my feet on, right? So it's tons of repetition of that maneuver right there to say, hey, come up and off these hands, come up and off these hands, come up and off these hands, get off there, get off my hands, get your chin out, get off my hands. See how I stayed in until there, and he gave me his shoulders lightly. There's a lot of room for improvement here with how he moves his front feet. It's going to take thousands of that right there, thousands of that right there. Okay? Don't think like, oh, I just got to pull harder and then he'll pivot perfect today, right? I've been working on this horse's backup for a month, right? I've been working on his ability to turn for a month. I'm still working on, like, I feel like when I walk him along and I put my feet on, he's rushing off into the sunset. That's better, right? But like when I was jogging, my shoulders didn't have any definition, didn't have any rhythm, right? And I felt like I was kind of just rushing off to a different zip code. Right? And I don't want that in my horse. So it's lots of repetition, consistency. So I'm working my right side now. And I feel like this way he falls down. You see his legs speed up? So this is what you guys were talking about, where he's going along here. Look how fast his legs are getting. Okay? He's not going and stepping out. He's not going that way. He's just not holding the ground. So I'm gonna stay in this maneuver, right? Stay here. I'm gonna close this right side a little bit. And I'm gonna make him stand up a little bit harder. When I feel him slow his legs down, then I'll get out. There. So he slowed his legs down, I kept my leg on. Now I can push him up. Then I go back out. But see how I stayed on my circle, right? And I like this look right here. I really like how relaxed his neck is. I like the way he's jogging better right there, right? But I just stayed in if he's gonna rush and try to fall down, right? Stop back, go ahead.
Bonnie said, what about when they speed up and get anxious through the maneuvers?
Yeah, that was it right there. Yep. Staying in, okay? And like some horses, like you'll learn a lot about your horse right there in how trainable are they, right? What kind of mind are you dealing with? I'm gonna give him an opportunity to tell me, like, I'm gonna get nervous through this. So I'm gonna give him an opportunity to say, I get nervous, and how long it takes to get him past that reactive stage gives you a clue into his mind, all right? So when you're trained on these horses, if it took me 20 circles right there, I might say, well, that's the kind of horse I got. It's just gonna be a long road, right? I'm gonna have to be very careful, bring my A game, really be paying attention to this horse. When he softens, I soften. Okay, good.
Emma says, when you stay in, do you mean with your feet?
Stay in the maneuver, yep. So I'm not gonna turn loose, right? If I was to come here and take up, I'll go the right so he speeds up, right? If I go right here and he speeds up and I drop my foot out and I'm now doing this, right? I'm not gonna be making progress towards the end goal. Look how much faster this horse is gonna go if I keep doing that, right? If I keep getting out, I'm rewarding him for turning down, right? And pretty soon I've got a barrel race horse in my hands, right? But see how I did that? Like I changed him that fast, just the way I was going to my foot. stay in the maneuver, stay connected to him, and teach him you can't run off when my spur comes on, right? So this horse is gonna make a lot of mistakes, especially when we go to lope. I'm gonna put my foot on, he's gonna mess up. You have to say, what maneuver was I trying to get? What button did I press? And what did he do? And don't stop pressing that button until he does the right thing. And sometimes that's hard to do, right? Sometimes it's hard to stay connected through your foot when he's rushing like that, right? So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna fix that hole that I just made right there where I taught him to rush.
We got a couple questions.
Okay.
When you're breaking your horse, how early is to start these new moves? I can't speak today. Holy cow. Okay, when you're breaking your horse, how early is it to start these maneuvers?
We just did a video on like the grades of our horse, right? So this stuff, I mean, we're kind of introducing it the whole way through. Like ride number 1 starts off with, don't rush off my foot, right? Right here, just at a walk, I put that foot on and get out. Put that foot on and get out. Put that foot on and get out. So it's ride number 1. But what I'm gonna get is it's gonna start out huge, right? It's not gonna be a pivot in the beginning, right? He's not gonna suck back hard in the beginning. So it's gonna be just chipping away all the time. Just keep introducing the subject to him, introduce the maneuver to him, chip away at it. But
what are some good exercises to help with your horse that is not, will not give their shoulders?
this one, yep. Coming out here, back and turning, all that stuff, good.
And then are you using your outside foot or your inside foot to help him stand up?
Both, because if I dump my inside, I end up with just what I had right there, right? Where he's falling down and scrambling. Your legs are there to keep him balanced right here. So if your horse does this, you have a problem off your feet, right? If you go to turn and your horse does this and leans down, you have a problem off your spurs, right? So I'm using this leg to push him up and back. Remember, 2 maneuvers. It's not just this. I'm trying to create a horse that comes this way, right? So when I'm in that trot circle, I'm coming here. Okay, I got that problem that I just made, right? He's falling down. This is what that looks like with no inside leg. You see how he's falling out of this? This is just tipping over, right? My back end is not rhythmic. My front end is not matching my back end. And I'm jogging here, right? I should be matched up. My back leg should be taking the same steps as my front legs. So what I gotta do is I gotta bring my inside leg in and hold him up over there so he can't fall in. Do you see the difference now? Right? Just by bringing that leg closer, now he's gotta stand up and I can hold him up a little bit better, right? I can hold him through that a little bit better and say, you gotta stay up between my feet. But see how now I've slowed that leg down because I stayed in here and he learned like I don't have to be nervous. That's gonna help me when I go to my foot because now I can leave my hand down, right? And go to that foot. He's not gonna rush as hard, right? There's no magic cure, but it's through tons of this repetition, he's gonna learn to stay up and back off my foot. Okay. Question?
Do you do this forever? How long do you wait to wean them off of this, relying on both legs?
We're always gonna rely on both legs, right? We always have to keep our horse between our hands and our feet. So there's never gonna be a time when I just leave this leg alone and ride out here on my horse, right? This is not being a good rider to me. Being a good rider is riding right here. My legs should be there to hold every horse up, right? No matter how broke they are. What the difference will be, he might not need it, but it's absolutely gonna be there in case I feel it fall out, right? Which could happen. If you're not, okay, so if you're not paying attention to your horse and you're relying on him, he's gonna get lazy, right? It takes both members of this team to not be lazy, right? If you're thinking you could come out here and ride lazy on your horse, he's gonna get worse. Right? Plain and simple, black and white. If you're coming out here and you're not gonna call his mistakes and hold him to a high standard because you're not holding yourself to a high standard, he's not gonna get better, right? He's gonna go downhill pretty quick, okay? And that's why a lot of people like we could tune their horse up, but if you don't know how to maintain that or you're not paying attention to those things, he's just gonna fall apart in a month or two, right? So your horse can never be too broke. Right? Don't ever think like, oh shoot, I got that one way too broke, right? That has never happened in my life, right? They're creatures of habit and they're lazy by nature. So just like if you don't have a reason to wake up in the morning, pretty soon your bedtime's gonna keep sliding back and you're gonna be waking up at noon, 1 o'clock, you're gonna be staying up till 2 in the morning because you got nothing to hold you to a higher standard, right? We want him to be responsible. We got to be responsible ourselves. Okay, go ahead. That's a good one.
Yes, so anytime I have to bend the neck and use outside leg pressure, my mare anticipates a lope and sucks back. How can I fix this?
He's gonna do the same thing once I start loping. And you don't wanna stop and back to fix that because that really doesn't help it. I'll just break him down and hold him to the maneuver until he trots, all right? So there'll be lots of times that I start loping him, and I'll just do it right now because he's gonna make that mistake too. Where I come around here and he doesn't wait on my kiss.
Lynn said she just joined. Are we doing feet or spurs?
What's that?
Lynn said, sorry, just joined, feet or spurs. Kind of like we're doing the whole leg, like
the whole leg. Yep, doing our horse, right? Working on our horse, making sure that we're understanding how these horses learn, how we get connected through our leg, right? And learning just the how does the ride go, right? We're trying to get a horse that stays on our feet and stays up and back. How do we get our horse that wants to lean forward and down like this horse and get him to come up and back when we put a spur on, right? Without the use of our hands holding him up and through, all right? So I'll keep riding him for a second. We'll keep going. So I'm here, he's falling down right there, so I gotta use my inside leg to balance his body up. Remember, the reason why he's falling down and speeding his legs up is because he's losing his balance, right? So if you're riding your horse along and you're going, man, his legs are fast, I can't seem to slow his legs down. He's 100% not balanced, all right? For the same reason, if I was out here and you got me running, but I got all my weight on my front end, right? If you were to run, you guys can all do this at home.
Let me hold him.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. Good. So what I'm doing with this horse, he's gonna be in the way. Get behind him.
Pull around him.
Perfect. All right, if I'm riding my horse, this is why your legs speed up. I want everybody to understand that, right? Why do my horse's legs go fast? And what are we talking about when we say we want this horse to be balanced and his legs to slow down, right? So I'm asking him to make a circle like this. Do you see how slow my legs are coming across here? Step, step, rhythm, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's what I'm looking for, right? So when I'm riding him and I say that feels better, that's what I'm starting to feel. He's starting to hold the ground and get rhythm, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What I get when I don't have this leg on, if I'm riding lazy or I don't know, is this.
Jeremy,
see how
you're
much
smoking
faster
my
my
horse.
See how much faster my legs go? That's literally what your horse is doing.
He took off.
Right? That's literally what he's doing. He's just scrambling, falling down, right? You see how I drop my shoulder and I'm falling through that, right? The difference is I'm asking him to hold his chest up, hold your shoulders up, hold your shoulders back, have some balance coming across, all right? So if you're riding your horse and you're on the circle and they feel really good, turn loose and go straight, right? The reason why, when I finish my turn, my back, right? I back and turn, and I feel him go this way. I know he's gonna stay up and back through my help, and then the rule book is not there in his mind that he's gotta stay right here, okay? We're gonna make the rule book in his mind by correcting him when he makes that mistake, okay? So the example would be like, say I had Peanut, and this is exactly where Peanut is, right? Say I have Peanut and I'm loping that circle. Loping around, I got it up, got it right here. This is where I wanted to be, right? We worked a long time to get here. And then we go, okay, can you do it on your own? And she goes, oh no. Right? That's what that is. You see how my legs start speeding up? So she was like, where's my helper? And she starts bowling down and scrambling. That's why your horses go fast down the rail. They lose their balance, okay? 100% black and white, they lost their balance, okay? So I want you guys to understand that when you're riding, you're trying to create balance. We're trying to make a horse hold the ground in a good position. Go ahead.
Ashley said, how do you help a horse that tips his head the wrong direction towards the outside?
Balance in between your hands, right? Let me put this down.
All right. I can't believe he like took off.
That was scary.
He was so scared.
That was scary.
It was scary.
So if he tips his head to the outside, what you're getting is you got too much outside rein, not enough inside, right? But what I can promise you is, again, this from here forward is a symptom of a problem from here. So what he's doing, you're doing that turn, he's doing this. So you either don't have enough contact over here or you have too much contact over here. You gotta balance them out between your hands. Now, when you do that, the problem that exists right here is gonna get exposed. So what you're gonna find is he's doing this. You can pull this rein, but look, I'm still doing this, right? I still have this shoulder leaning out. So what you're gonna find is when you pull his head back to the middle and you balance in between your hands, he's gonna fall even faster because now he doesn't have his head to counterbalance the weight, right? So he was falling really hard, and by holding his head over here, he was able to kind of maintain the teeter-totter, all right? So when you pull his head back over, he's still gonna have the teeter-totter right here. He's still falling down. So you're gonna find when you bring that horse's head back to the middle, he's gonna fall down even harder. You gotta work right here and get this to stand up off your leg, right? Get this to stand up off your upper leg, because when you bring that head back over, he's still falling, so our leg has gotta stay here. Then you can do whatever you want with your neck. That's why our legs have to stay close, right? That's how we have to keep our horse between our legs. Because if I set him down and he's falling over, I'm gonna feel that and correct it, and now I can do whatever I want with his head, as long as he stays square, right? Very good. So we talk about slowing a horse's legs down, right? Not controlling speed, but getting him really balanced so that he can start to lift. This horse, no amount of spurring him, I could ride him in the sharpest spurs I own, I'm not gonna be able to make him lift into the air until he's balanced, okay? So the very first thing you have to have is balance left to right and front to back, okay? Mm-hmm. Good, let's keep going. That got me out of breath.
Yeah, I hear that.
I was running.
You were running.
All right. Cool. So, we're gonna pick back up. Shuffle his neck down while I'm sitting softly in my hands. We're gonna do that same thing. I want you guys to look at how he's gonna jog this circle. Balance, jog, chest up, square. Rhythm, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Keeping in balance between my hands and my feet. Okay? Not balanced, falling. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right? See how much faster? Because he's not balanced. So I'll balance him out. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Good. Good. So we're gonna come around here. We're gonna lope him off. Every transition comes from a maneuver. Go ahead.
1 second, let me let my chap up. Jasmine said, can you show how he sucks back?
Tell me what?
How he sucks back.
He doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't suck back yet. He's gonna learn, right? The difference is like sucking back. I mean, when I go to my foot, look, my reins are still loose, right? And he's staying up and back. I'm not dragging him through the circle. I can slide my hands forward and he's still coming on the circle. Now he's falling down, so I'm gonna fix that. Right here, I'm gonna say, whoa, 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 get up off this leg, don't fall in, right? I can keep my hands forward. I wanna make a horse that stays there, square between my reins, okay? This is my left leg on his belly, my right leg on his belly, right? Both spurs in him, holding him up, so he comes up and around, pressing my left leg a little bit. But look, I'm gonna loose rein. See how he stays right here? You guys might do this with your horses, and what you'll find is that you go to your foot, and this circle's gonna be way out here. Or if he turns the circle at all, right? He's gonna be way out here, make a big old circle, right? So get to where, when you press your legs, he can draw up and back and around, right? So I'm here, I'm off balance here. I'm gonna get him off my hands first. So first things first, come off my hands. Come off my hands, come off my hands, turn. Come off my hands. And I only want to turn like quarter turn, maybe a half turn before I'm backing again, right? I know through riding this horse, I got a problem being out there. Most horses that come to me, I got a problem being out there somewhere. So rather than just do like a full 360 and lope back off, give him every opportunity to keep shifting his weight this way, right? So every opportunity gonna be back, 1, 2 steps, turn, 1, 2 steps, 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 back, 1, 2 steps, turn, ready to lope off. Nope, missed my lead, right? So I'm gonna try it again. He missed it, so I'm just gonna do the same maneuver. I didn't take my leg away yet. Turn. Good, got it. Got it. Now let him lope around. So I'm loping around. I'm not worried about his head and neck because I don't have any lift yet. If I don't have lift, his head and neck's gonna be in the air. So right here, just like my jog circle, I can make this circle pretty accurately. Right? I'm here loping around. I like that he's staying between my hands and my feet. There's nothing to fix here. Right? You can chop at your head and neck, but look, when I drop his neck down, look how my legs go faster. Why? Because now he's off balance. Right? Dropping your neck down without having your belly up is no good. Right? They just go faster. Now he starts folding up right here. Right? So watch what happens when I draw him down. I drop his neck. Look how he's leaning into my hands now, right? Now it feels heavy in my reins because I dropped his head down, but he doesn't know to keep his shoulders up. So if I do that, he's gonna be pulling on me the whole time, okay? So if I drop his neck down and I feel him pull, I'm gonna say, whoa, whoa, whoa. What are we doing? Get off my hands. 1, 2 steps back, 1, 2 steps turn, 1, 2 steps back, 1, 2 steps turn, 1, 2 steps back, 1, 2 steps, turn, lope up. Good. Good. Turn again. Tight turn. Good. Didn't pull on my hands. Right? Very nice. So I'm going to challenge him to say, okay, this circle is not hard. Let's do this one. Do you fall down? Do you lean on my hands? Do you fall into the middle? What happened? Right? There. Back out to my big circle. Now this is going to be easy to him. Right? Give him a hard maneuver. See his legs fall apart? Right there, he loses himself. Give him an easy maneuver. Look how much easier this is for him now. He's like, shoot, I can do that. Now we're falling over really hard. So we're gonna break him down. We're gonna get him off the inside. Rib control video right here. Off the inside, you're falling into the inside. Lope again. Nope, pulled through my hands. See that car crash right there? Back, off my hands, get off my hands, get off my hands, turn. 1, 2, back, 1, 2, turn, 1, 2, back, 1, 2, turn, lope off. Good. Flip his head, right? That's gonna happen, at least for a little while. Coming along. Right here, stand up, tight circle. There, good. Look at my neck fall into place. Stand up, turn. Look at his neck coming down. See the difference? His shoulders standing up. Now he kind of barreled that turn, right? So we're gonna break that down. See how I just pull him, stand him up off this side, wrap on this side. Now he loped off. I caught it right away. Got my leg on still, right? So that's for everybody whose horse lopes off when you put your leg on. I backed him off with my hands. My leg is still on. I want him to know you stay back here when that leg comes on. Don't go out there, right? Don't look for stuff out there. Now I'll drop my leg off and pet him. Don't go out there, right? But you have to keep your leg on because they only learn from when I release the pressure. So I put my leg on, he went out that way. I said, that's wrong, kept my leg on. He stood still, I said, that's what I want. You come back this way when I put my leg on, right? You stay up and back, keep everything rolling this way, right? We'll do that again. I'm gonna side pass him over. So I'm gonna pick up right where I left off. Then I'm gonna wrap this leg to my lope off. No, I didn't kiss. Shut it down. Got my left leg on still. There, drop it off. Stay back here, go back to that maneuver. So this is now 3 times I've given him this command. 3 times I'm trying this maneuver. Wrap my left leg. Ah, See the difference in his thinking? That's what I want. Head in for that. Lick and chew, right? But it took 3 corrections in order to sink in where, oh, he puts that leg on. See him think? I just brought that leg in. He was like, oh, you lope. No, I don't. There. That's what I want. Really good question.
Yep, Michelle says, is this the same exercise we were working with Tex?
I don't remember.
Don't remember?
Probably. I mean, it's all the same, right? We're trying to work all these horses up and back, get them off the front ends. So probably, most likely. Go ahead.
Jasmine said, when I use my inside leg at the lope, she breaks. Any suggestions?
She breaks?
Yep.
Kiss. Yep, just kiss. But like I'm breaking him down, okay? So when I'm loping around and I feel him tipping over, I'm gonna pull him down and break him down, okay? So again, just like we said about showmanship, right? You could chase a good lope, constantly begging this to get better. But what I'm telling you is the kind of thinking that I'm giving you guys is that if your horse knew what that button meant, if he stayed up off that leg to begin with, you wouldn't have to use it, right? So I'm gonna go back down to a gear that's easier for him and say, stay off that leg, right? So what that might look like is I would say, like, if he's loping around and he's not falling down, I don't ever need to make this correction. But if he's falling down, I need to come back here to a walk or a jog, stand him back up, wrap that outside. See, he didn't lope off that time. I'll drop out, I'll do it again. Stand him up off the inside, wrap the outside, now I'll lope. Good lope off, much better. Didn't flip his head nearly as much. If he starts falling down, I'm loping around, he starts falling, rather than just like try to hold him up like this, right? And try to like balance him up, I'm just gonna pull him around and say, hey, this leg's on, let's really move over. Let's get way over there. Wrap my outside, no, we don't lope off. Shut it down. Got my outside leg on, get out. Push him over again. Come across, wrap my outside. Good, lope up. Good, so he's allowed to make the lope off then. If he's gonna be relaxed and quiet, he's allowed to lope off, right? But if he starts falling down and he gets over here like this, I'm gonna come back here, pull him around, push him out. See, I pulled him around, I let him come down because he's gotta do this where he's balanced and comfortable, right? And I need more work on my transition anyway, right? He still lopes off right there, so my transition still needs work anyway, so I don't have a problem breaking him down and saying, we're not gonna lope anymore if you're right there. Shift his weight back over where he can shift his weight at a walk or a trot, lope back off. Right there, good lope off, much better. Loping around. So I'm loping around, I'm gonna challenge him, tight circle. Bring this shoulder up and around off my hand. Up and around, get off my bit. Up and around, get off my bit. Good, out to the big circle. Up and around, get off my bit. He's falling down, push over. Get off this side. Come over here, wrap my outside. He didn't lope off, I like it. Right there, very good. Now I can tap my right leg. Still doesn't lope off, very good. Now I'll lope off. Now I'll kick. See how I'm teaching this horse to wait on my commands? There, much better. And I know, because his neck is starting to fall into my hands. I'm not babysitting his neck, but now he's starting to lighten up in my reins and starting to stand his shoulder up a little more on his own. Very good. Stop, much better. Excellent. Okay? But see how like that series right there, make your rides look like that, right? Where you're starting to get control of that horse's body. Don't try to fix your lope at the lope. If he could make the fix at the lope, you probably wouldn't have the problem in the first place, right? If he was ready to make that fix at the lope, you wouldn't need to make the fix, right? Because he would probably be balanced to begin with, right? So if I was at the show, I would help him. But I'm not at the show, I'm working at home. So I'm gonna break him down, I'm gonna say, get your weight over here, get off the inside, get like this. Now stand up and lope off and hold yourself up, right? Because I can't lope this horse straight to camera like Dubs could, right? If you were with us a couple days ago, we set our Dubs horse up for a lope off and he was able to lope straight to camera, right? So if you're ever not sure where your horse goes, set him up, keep your hands straight, set him up, and lope off. Where's my horse go? That's better, much better, right? But there was a time not too long ago, right? Probably at the beginning of this ride where he wouldn't have stayed straight.
No.
Right? So I still have a long way to go, but now at least I can keep the wheel straight when I'm riding. I still have to work on teaching this horse how to come this way, right? Up and around and over, right? Around and over, up and back and over when I go to do things, right? Here, back and over, right? So that everything that I do when I go to steer him means come this way, right? Like we talked about, we drew those arrows last night, right? So we drew those arrows and said, come here, so we can drive all this under. But you gotta bring this body up and back first. So that's what I'm doing. When I'm backing him off, I'm saying, bring your body up and back, right? Hold yourself up here. You gotta stay back here, okay? Very good, very good. What time is it? 1 o'clock. Questions, comments, concerns?
Let's see here. Kitten said this definitely works. Yesterday my mare looked straight ahead and got to hang time with her outside front leg.
Perfect.
Yay, that's awesome.
Very good, very good.
What type of bit are we using?
This is my standard D-ring twist, right?
I'll go up and see it.
Just a D-ring, medium twist snaffle.
Nothing too crazy, just like a little twist.
Nothing crazy. Yep, yep, absolutely. Okay.
We got another one. Let's see here. For some reason my phone like goes dark because it's so bright.
Oh, it's so bright, yeah.
Use this, I'll give you this.
Fine. A 5-year-old mare doesn't like to move forward under saddle. Walk is fine, ask for a trot or lope, head comes high, tries to throw a fit. So a lot, like this horse's head comes high, right? I'm not gonna dictate to him he's gotta hold his head down. Because again, like we said, this right here is a symptom of a bigger problem. If my horse flips his head loping off, he's not using this lope off, right? So he's literally like, you might have him down where you want him, and you go to kiss and he goes, ugh. Right? When you lope one of our horses off, we get their head down and they go, ugh. Right? That's what we want. I want that lope to start from back here.
That's embarrassing.
Right? That's my twerking for the day, right? You guys can clip that one like the artistry last night. But I want him to lift this right here when he lopes off. If he were to lift this, you wouldn't have this popping up, right? So thinking about like even just this horse, that right lead series that you saw right there, I broke his head down to the side and my first few lope offs were head up flipping my head, right? I let him do that. He needs to do that right now. He's not strong enough back here. We saw that already to lift this into the air. But I know over the course of doing this, the more transitions he gets to do, the more transitions that start from a good position, like right here, right? If my transition always starts from a good position where he's up in his ribs, down in his neck right here. See, he didn't pop his head up nearly as much right there. He still fell over. So I'm gonna do it again. Right? Do it again, line his head, neck back up. He's falling over, wrong. Wrap my outside. He's falling over, see him turning right, wrong. Until I can wrap my outside and come straight to you guys. See him falling over the right, wrong. Stay over here, stay off this leg. But that's because I'm working off my leg, I'm not doing this, right? He can do this. The problem with using your rein to do that, when you go like this, is when you put your hand back to straight, he's gonna tip right back over. See that? He just curled right around. Wrong. It's gotta come out of my legs. That's why I ride with my hand wide. So it's coming off my spur. So that when I wrap my outside, see, he's still falling over. Stay off this leg. Right here, where'd your phone go?
It's in your pocket.
Oh, I thought I lost it.
Oh, I didn't see it fall. Okay.
It's sitting really deep. Here. Right here. So he doesn't fall over anymore. Push him over so I can ride him between my feet. He fell over. Ride him between my feet.
The cat is talking.
Right side. Ride him over. She loves my coat.
She does love your coat.
Right here. There. See, he doesn't tip over nearly as hard. Much better. Much better. Okay? See how he stayed out. But he had to be reminded 4 or 5 times to stay off this leg so I can wrap this outside so that when I lope off, it's straight ahead. So I'm here, push over, come around. For you guys, straight with your legs. drive your leg straight ahead, okay? Because otherwise my lope is going that way right away. It's gonna be wrong, okay? So you're gonna get this for a while. This takes a while to fix, right? But focus on fixing this, and this will find itself, okay? This will all find itself, okay?
The cat was so talkative.
Rainbow. Yeah, absolutely, that'd be fun. Yeah, so just like the biggest thing, the biggest difference is think about your horse long term. How hard do you want to have to work, right? Put the work in now. Don't let him make the mistakes, right? Call the mistakes when he makes them so that he can do it himself, right? Fix your lope through those maneuvers, through rebalancing him and loping back off, rather than just holding him up all the time on his own, right? You don't want to hold him up all the time on his own.
Right.
Okay? Very good. Very good. Good question.
Yeah, that was a really good question.
Good question. Yeah, because that's like, we want him to carry himself around, okay? So I'll take him to the left so you guys can see it while we wait for a little more questions. You want this back?
Yeah, probably for a wind blocker. Thank you.
And I'll show you his good way so we can see, just kind of keep an eye on his progress. So again, now I back up, look how much softer he is, right? Now these shoulders are moving, okay? That's what I'm looking for. But it took me a 30-minute ride to get there, right? So now I push him over, load back up. Got a head flip right there, right? He picked his neck up, so it tells me he did not lift his belly to lope off. So I'm gonna break him down, new direction, right? New direction, new horse. I'm gonna push him over. He's going fast, so I'm gonna stay in. He's trotting, gonna stay in. There. So he thinks his way through. Think your way through problems. Set him up, lope again. Better. Come around, pinch, press. There. Out to my big circle. Right? Holding himself up. Turn. Out. Hold yourself up. But I promise you guys, like, do this. If you're ever not sure, slide your hands forward. If your horse leaves and makes a massive circle, right, you know you have a problem. You know he's relying on you to hold his shoulders up. So I'm gonna come around, stand your shoulders up, go out to your big circle. And I assure you guys, what will happen is you want to create a horse that when you set him down, this could be your pleasure lope, right? So if this is not my pleasure lope yet, I got some work to do setting this horse up and back. Stand him up, come around, hold your shoulders up on your own. Look at his neck coming down, right? I'm closing both feet when I make my circle, right? Both spurs coming in, so I keep him balanced, keep him round. Out. Turn. I want this to be the hard part of my ride. This is the challenging maneuver right here. So that this is on him. This is your easy ride. Okay? I want to stay connected through my feet and get to where he can hold himself up and back. That's mission number one for all these horses. Get to where you hold yourself up. Come around. I'm going to break him down. So I grab him right out of midair, bend his neck, got my left leg on, right leg close. He's rushing. Right leg really close. He's rushing. He's going fast across there. He's gonna stay in. Stay in until he softens up. Stay in until he takes his time. There. See, because that's exactly what we saw with the horse backing yesterday. He tried something. He tried rushing right here. It didn't get him out of the maneuver. When he slowed down, it did. Okay? So it's not just move over, it's move over in timing and rhythm. Right? Move over with me, not running away from me. Right? There. Now I'll wrap my outside, set him up for a lope. He's not loping. Great. Now I'll kiss and use my seat. Right here. So I got him lined up. I'll go so you guys can see it. I'm in the lope position with both my feet. His neck's in the lope position. Now I'll go and bounce my seat. See how I didn't flip his head that time? Because he was up on my feet. He was up on my spurs, so I didn't get the big lift of his neck. And look how I can lope around now and stay a lot lower in his neck. Right? lot more rhythm and definition in his shoulders. I still feel him heavy on this left rein. So I still have more work to do right here so he doesn't pull down and through my left hand. Right? He's pulling down and forward on my left hand, so I'm gonna make him go lateral with his legs, move sideways with your legs, gonna weight him out. There, think your way through. Lope again. Lift seat, good. Lope around. Good. Good, there.
He looks much better.
Loose rein. See what I'm talking about? That's what we're going for. Right? Good, very good. So that was on a loose rein. That's a good place to be done with this horse, right? That's a good workout for the day, right? So if you compare this, the lope that I had right there, to the lope that I had even just a couple days ago, that's a different horse, right? So if you guys go back to our YouTube and look at that video that we did inside, I think that was just like a week ago, maybe.
Yep.
And I mean, this is a different lope now.
It is.
We're starting to get some lift, we're starting to get some stride, but he's sweaty. I mean, like you can see his veins popping out, right? That's a hard workout, but I know in order to go much slower than that, he's gonna have to build muscle and get comfortable, right? That's why I work through their body methodically, okay? I'm gonna give him the kill.
Yep. I'll give you this. Gotta jump over the fence. Here you go. You can come out here.
Yep.
Okay, a couple questions.
Yep.
Okay, you gotta make sure I'm all set here.
You're all good.
Where are we at?
Okay.
My hand's a little chilly.
How long does it usually take to balance your horse? Long time.
Yeah, long time.
I mean, and not only that, but we're always looking for more balance,
Right.
right? We're always trying to get more lift, more rock, more stay back, right? Because the more balance and the more lift and rock back we get, the easier they are to ride,
Right.
and the easier they are to show.
Right, much
Right.
easier.
So, I mean, this is, how long does it take? We worry about that from the first ride to the last ride when you show,
Right.
right?
Yep.
And then we worry about it in between shows. We worry about it on show day, right? We're always worried about balance because they're gonna take the path of least resistance, okay? So it's what we were talking about when I was riding, where if you don't hold him to a standard,
Right.
right? If you don't hold him to this level, then he's gonna just slide down gradually,
Right.
right?
Yep.
If you're riding and you're not riding balanced yourself, and you've got one piece just always kind of hanging out,
Right.
he's gonna learn pretty quick he can just go over there, right?
Yep.
And you're gonna unbalance your horse that may have been balanced,
Right.
right? I don't think there's any such thing as a finished horse,
No,
Right.
I don't think so either.
because
They're all gonna try to take the easy way out.
yeah, just like people, right? You give them the easy way out, they're gonna try it,
Right. Yep.
right? Unless they have an internal rule book that says, I gotta stay right here,
Right.
right? And like when we have horses, we call that heart, right? That horse got a lot of try. That horse got a lot of heart in the show pen, right? But having that heart, that's something that you're just gonna, you don't know that until you start riding it,
Right.
right? If that horse is gonna have what it takes to be a competitor,
Right.
right? If I'm having to tell this horse all the time, you gotta stay up, you gotta stay back, you gotta stay up, you gotta stay back, for his whole life, I would argue that the competitiveness of that horse is gonna be pretty small,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to babysit that horse all the time, and it goes back to form to function,
Yep.
right? Talent is the measure of how long can you hold it on your own.
Right.
That's
I
literally
agree.
all talent is, right? How long can you hold this position, this degree of difficulty on your own, all right? So we talk about heart. If LeBron James, as talented as he is, didn't practice, didn't show up for practice, he would not be the legend he is today.
No, not at all.
You know, like if those professional athletes didn't show up for practice, they would not be the athletes they are today. So what I want this horse to do is show up for practice,
Right.
right? He's got to have the discipline in his mind to show up for practice.
Right.
We can help him, right? We can teach him, dude, this is why you got to show up,
Right.
because this is hard, right? If you don't show up, we're going to be in trouble,
Right.
right? We're trying to create a trainable athlete, but a lot of
Yeah.
that's on him. And we've had horses that didn't want to do it,
No, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like Peanut, for example. She's done this for 2 years now.
It's like first 2 years of her life, she was like.
She did
nah.
not want to hold her shoulders back.
She was always like kind of out there, didn't really
Yep.
want to be in our program.
Yep.
And,
And whether that's because of gravity, right? She was built downhill, so she
Yep.
physically couldn't do it. We just gave her time to figure it out. Now you ride her, she really doesn't want to leave very often.
No, she's a lot more mature now though.
Yep.
Like she grew up a lot.
Yep. So she decided, okay, I kind of want to be a pleasure horse now. But if I had a horse that just did not want to balance up and stay back, that horse is probably not going to be a pleasure horse, right? Or you have to decide what level of pleasure horse is he going to be.
Okay, so here's another one.
Good. My mare gets very offended when I touch the reins, even when I'm using my pinkies. It makes holding the shoulders up and maneuvers very difficult. We use smooth snaffle currently. Where should we back up in order to fix this? Good question. So,
is she good off your feet?
Offended how, right? So like
does she flip her head up? Or?
Yeah, does she like pull on your hands? Does she come above the bit? Because either way, my answer to you is gonna be handle her more.
Yeah.
Right? Like
get her comfortable with the feeling that like you're gonna be working with her.
Yeah, she's gotta learn to trust our hands. So it's I expect a horse that has not been worked with much to get offended. Right? No different than like I wake up at 6 o'clock. Do you wake up at 6 o'clock?
No.
So Macy would be very offended if I came in and woke her up at 6 o'clock.
I will be, yes.
She'd be very offended, right? But if I kept coming and waking her up at 6 o'clock, she would start to get adjusted to it and she would go, okay, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
I can probably get up, right? But the answer is not, okay, well, you don't like to get up at 6. We're gonna like 6:30, 7, because then I'm not gonna get to the show pen. Right? So if we keep letting that horse train us and saying like, I don't like you touching my face. Probably not, it's work, right? It's work, it's harder. But as long as you are firm and consistent with the way you're asking, the way you're releasing, and you reward them for doing it, you'll get that horse comfortable with your hands, right? So if every time I woke Macy up at 6, I gave her a piece of candy,
I would be up by 6.
if I gave her a cookie every time, she'd be up at 6.
Starbucks coffee.
Starbucks coffee, yeah. If I woke her up with Starbucks, it'd be a much different story than if I woke her up with a bucket of water.
Oh, I'd be so mad at you.
So do it through kindness, right? Do it through gradually increasing the pressure. But don't let that horse train you by being like, well, you can't touch me with more than your pinky, right? Because that's a horse that needs to be handled more to get comfortable with it.
Yep.
Okay.
What's your best tip for training to barrel race?
Train to barrel race, get them balanced, get them broke, right? I don't think it matters what discipline you're doing, all right? And I've watched some of the really good barrel racers. I've sat in on some of their clinics. They're doing the same stuff we are, right? It's trotting, it's rolling their belly around, it's standing their shoulders up, because you gotta have it, right? If that horse falls
He's so
down,
nosy.
yeah. Like even on this horse, if you watch the whole video today, if he's falling down like this when he turns, you can't power out for the next barrel, right? He's gotta be able to get squared back up so he can push off that back end and drive back out, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't matter what discipline you're doing, getting this horse, all we're doing is getting him in an athletic position.
Right.
So he's ready to do something else, all right? We're teaching him to use the big muscles, okay? No different than I can sure squat a lot more weight than I can bench press, than I can curl, right? Because I'm using a littler muscle. So if your horse is pulling himself along with his shoulders or pulling himself with his neck instead of his hip, you're using the little muscles. You could be so much better, faster, stronger, coming out of those turns or barrels or whatever if you use your back end, right? Use the big muscles to do the same job.
Use the big muscles. Do we feed any supplements? Joint, gut, calming, etc. We do Quaker soya.
Coca soya, yep, for our hair coats, that makes them shiny.
We actually are giving stuff to Peanut, and we got it from, well, his dad got it from the Amish.
From an Amish guy.
From an Amish guy.
And they said that it got rid of OCDs. So, and it just cleared up arthritis. So we're testing it. They said it takes like 6 weeks to work. I think we're at like week 3. I don't know if she has anything going on or not, but it's just a joint supplement, so it's got lots of MSM,
what is it
chondroitin.
called?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'll have to look.
We'll take a picture of it, because, I mean...
So we're trialing that.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, gut health is really important. If I'm riding a horse and I can't put my feet on them and they just are not happy with their job, ulcers, I think, are one of the biggest problems in show horses today. Yeah. So you have to really make sure that you're taking care of their guts, right? Take care of their stomachs. Don't let them get ulcers.
Yep.
Yep.
So think what other supplements we give?
That's pretty much it. I don't do a lot of that stuff.
We usually try to keep it just kind of balanced.
We keep it basic, right? Keep it simple. A lot of people give supplements, I think, this is my personal soapbox. A lot of people give supplements because they're looking for a magic cure.
Yeah.
Right? They're looking for something instant.
I mean, it's not going to be magic. It could help a little bit, but it's not going to be like, oh, look, my horse goes around now, you know?
Yep. I think the biggest help that I've found with every horse, like I've had horses that come out here and they limp, right? Like they get sent to my barn and they limp. But if you get them balanced and strong, they don't limp anymore.
Right, because he was kind of off too when you jogged.
He was funny.
Yeah. He was.
And like it's hard to know, like, is that a soundness issue or is it just he didn't know how?
Right.
Right? Because like now we jog him around and he's crisp and he's starting to get some rhythm, right? So I would say I don't need a supplement for this horse. He just needs to be balanced and use himself right.
Yeah, we'll take a picture of it, Nancy, and we'll put it up on our page. I don't know what it's called, but
I don't either.
We'll go right inside after this video.
And I don't know if you'll be able to find it either, but
we could ask your dad where he got it.
Yeah,
and,
where they got it.
Yep. We can always get it for you guys and ship it out to you.
Yeah.
Nancy said our gelding doesn't want to hold his shoulders up. What can we do?
Everything that you just saw, right? All of it over and over and over again. But remember, the biggest thing is when you get out. All right, make sure that when he gives you what you're looking for, when those shoulders come back and they turn or they back up or whatever it is that you're trying to do, get out, right? Get out and reward him. You can always come back in. You can always do that maneuver again, all right? But it would be like Macy's in college, right? She's in nursing school. And we study together and I help her, right? If she was
best teacher.
If she was doing a math problem and I taught her how to do that math problem, she's gonna get the next one wrong.
Yeah.
Right? If we sat there for 2 hours drilling one math problem, she's gonna get the next one wrong. Right. The only way she's gonna learn to do math on her own is by doing a lot of them, right? And I'm gonna check in and say, where did we go wrong? Let's do that one again. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. Let's do another one.
This happens all the time.
We can always do another maneuver, right? I want her to get the answer right every time, right? Not have to, like, I'm not gonna set him up perfectly and then lope off and then never lope off again, right? And I see people do that. I see people that are like they make it such a huge deal, I'm not gonna lope off unless it's perfect. Well, no, he's gotta lope off 1,000,000 times. You're not gonna be able to wait for perfect, right? It just has to be slightly better than it was, right? So every ride, my warm up is figuring out where is he, right? Where is he gonna be? And then, okay, that's where we are today. I'm gonna push him to be right here, just a little bit more, right? Now, if my lope offs come here, awesome, great job. If my lope offs are here, okay, that's what I had for today. Now, if my lope offs are here, we're gonna shut it down immediately and do another one, right? If he doesn't give me at least the standard of quality that I've set for the day, we're gonna do more, right? You just have to find your limits, right? Find your horse's limits and slightly push beyond that every day. Right. And you'll keep kind of working him up. And pretty soon, like now I bring some horses out like Dubs or Peanut and they're up here, just as a whole, right, on the standard.
Yeah, they usually just like, after we do like so much of this, they just kind of come out and they're just kind of solid there all of a sudden. Like a light bulb flips or something.
It becomes their new baseline, right? So it's kind of like what I want to do is I want to set the cruise for degree of difficulty, right? So if the degree of difficulty is going to be 70, I'm going to push the plus button and I'm going to bump that cruise up to 73 for the day. And I'm going to get him out the next day and he might be at a 72. I'm going to bump that cruise up a little bit. We're going to push him to a 75. And I'll get him out the next day and he's going to be at a 74, right? And we'll keep kind of bumping that cruise up and his baseline cruising around with my hands down will gradually get better, right? Just like you saw today, the baseline cruise that I had when I set him down and he just carried himself around was much better than the baseline that I started with.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, he's just
You're getting mauled over there.
My mare doesn't like a broken snaffle bit. What do you suggest in place of that type?
Define doesn't like, right? Because doesn't like could be like avoids the bit, right? Or doesn't like the way you're using your hands. So again, if you guys have questions like these, feel free to send videos in, right? Yeah. And we can go over them on the couch at night and we can talk about it and we can help everybody.
We got some videos today, so I'm really excited.
Because that's the second question we've had about my horse doesn't like the snaffle bit, right? But we have to remember that's our tool, right? That's our aid. So just like spurs, they're gonna have to learn to accept it, right? They're gonna have to learn to accept it if we want them to be a show horse, right? If we want them to be good, obedient, like trustworthy animals. Because otherwise, like when people tell me my horse doesn't like that, that sounds a lot like I hear my horse is training me not to touch him, right? Like my horse is training me not to handle his face. My horse is training me not to put spurs on his belly.
Cause I did the same thing with Peanut. Like she would get up here and I'd be like, oh, she doesn't like it.
She doesn't like it.
We need something new.
Yep. And we might work around that, right? We're not gonna work through those horses.
No.
We're gonna work around them.
Yeah.
But we are gonna get through it, right? Because we have to be a show horse, okay? Because I didn't buy this horse to be a pet. right? I didn't buy it to be a pasture ornament. So as long as there's not a soundness issue, we're gonna keep working through.
Right.
Okay?
And then Bruce said, how do I get more split behind? We'll have to dedicate
Perfect. Let's come up a little bit.
My head's cut off.
There we go. There we go. All right.
We'll have to dedicate a video to that.
Yep.
Because that's a big thing.
That'll probably be our next one. I don't think we'll be live tomorrow because it's Easter.
Yeah, it's Easter.
But Monday probably we'll get back out here and we'll start pushing some hips around because this one could use the same thing, right?
Yep.
But remember that split behind is going to be a measure of you pushing that back end up.
Yep.
If you don't have the wall up front, you're pushing your back end through the open door.
That's really, like, she's a really good example of that.
Yep.
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 Love
You're
to.
pushing your back end through an open door and you can't drive it up.
Because that's what we run into with Peanut, is that she'd be falling down on her shoulders and me pushing her back end up. And that's why we could never really like put her on a drape, because
Yeah.
she wasn't holding her shoulders up.
Yep.
So there's nothing to push her back end too, so she didn't have a good split behind.
Yeah, yeah. If they don't if they don't do this with their front end and rock their shoulders up and back and keep good posture up front, then when you push your back end, they're just gonna push everything forward, right? And that was, you just end up going fast, right? They got to hold right here.
I move him back, he goes forward. I move him back, he goes forward. I pet him, he bites me. Charlie.
So
What
having
do you want?
that front end locked down, and then the other piece that is, if you want a really good back end, start with a form to function, right? Start with a big pretty hip that's got some hook to it, that's got some set to it, right? And that horse will naturally split better.
Yeah, but our pushing and catching and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, we
will
got
help a
maneuvers to
lot.
help them.
Yeah, we have
Yep.
a lot of, we can help you guys with that.
We got lots of maneuvers to help them. But yeah, it's a lot of like push, catch, and make sure that your legs go this way. Because if you want split, their legs got to stay in line, right? If I'm here, if I'm over here, and my leg drives sideways, how much split is that to you guys? If my leg goes this way, right? Do you see much split in my legs? Is there much definition? Not at all, right? If my leg lopes and my horse lopes sideways, you don't see any split of my hock. So what you need to do is make sure your leg drives straight ahead. Do you see the difference now? Now you see split of my hock. So we're talking about a horse skipping and splitting there, right? Drive that leg forward. If he drives it sideways, you don't see much split at all, right? If that leg is driving this way, okay? If it spends all of its time in the air going this way, you're not gonna have much split going down a rail. Okay?
How can we send the videos on Instagram? Mary, you can send them to LaRose Horse on Facebook, or you could just DM them to us.
Yeah, just DM them to us. But I don't know, I've never sent a video on Instagram. It's gonna send a shorter video.
Yeah,
right?
it'll be better if you send it over
Facebook is probably the best
If you
one.
like LaRose Horses and hit message,
Yep.
You should be able to attach a video there.
Yep.
And they don't need to be like 10 minutes long. They can be like a couple seconds.
Yesterday's
couple
clip that we
minutes.
learned so much from was like 5 seconds long.
Yeah, so
right?
they can be
It
like
was just
10
a very
seconds long.
specific hole that she ran into.
Yep. So if you guys have any like specific holes you want us to break down,
Yep.
then send them in.
Yeah,
And
send them
we'll
in.
go over them.
We'll
And
be
it'd
on
be
the
awesome
couch.
if you sent a picture of your horse too, so like the conformation
Yeah.
and like the hole you're running into, because a lot we can tell of how they're made and why they're running into that hole.
Yep.
So that'd be awesome too if you send.
Yeah, if you guys can get a
over.
profile picture of your horse, that's always
That'd
really
be
good.
awesome. So it'll be live tonight. I'm not quite sure what time.
Probably a little earlier than we were yesterday.
Probably a little bit earlier.
We started at 9, but we were watching the Keeping It Real podcast.
Yeah.
So we were watching a little bit of that. They had Gil on there last night, and that was really cool to watch.
That was really cool. Yeah.
So, but we should be earlier tonight. We'd probably be like 7 o'clock tonight.
Yep.
Yep, that'd be really good. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys.
thank you, guys.
We love having you here. Remember to subscribe on YouTube, share this video with your friends, send us a like, send a comment. Helps us out, helps us grow this channel. We want to help as many people as we can so we can get there,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Awesome. We'll tune in tonight. Happy Easter, everyone.
Yes, happy Easter, and we will see you guys at probably 7. We'll make a post on our Instagram.
Yeah, we'll let you know exactly what's up.
We'll put it on our story when we
Yep.
know. Awesome. Thanks so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you in the next one.
See you. Do you want to go inside? Are you ishy?